Okay, I was saying it's very important to check what we have on the economic calendar because the fundamentals, especially on the red folder, they really pushes price. So like tomorrow, Monday, we really don't have anything in terms of high impact data or economy release. And then on Tuesday, we have very key and major important fundamental update. That is during the New York session, you're going to have CPI for the dollar. It will have a major impact on the dollar. And then we're also going to have a speech for the pound, also during the New York session. Early in the morning, you're going to have a claimant count change. Then on Wednesday, guys can't follow simple. Right now, I think if someone cannot mute their mic, I'm going to remove them kindly. All right. So be mindful, okay? Be mindful. Think of others. So on Wednesday at 4:30 a.m., we are going to have those guys who trade Audi pairs, going to have wage price index. And then on Thursday, also during the morning hours, 4:30 a.m. Kenyan time, we shall be having an employment change and employment trade for the Australian dollar. The same Thursday, we'll be having GDP during the London session for the pound. And then later on during the New York session, that is 8:30 a.m. New York time, 3:30 p.m. Kenyan time, we're going to be having PPI, as well as retail sales and employment claim data being released. And then we'll be ending that day with a speech from Powell on the dollar. Friday, we wrap it our week with the US dollar at 5 p.m. With consumer sentiments and also the inflation expectations. So be keen on that as the week goes on. So all the updates will be shared in the group, rather in our Discord platform later on. So from that, we go to the technical. And I'm going to be looking at what we have. I'm going to be looking at what we have, the dollar. Kindly mute your mic. Abraham, mute your mic. That is a last warning. If that proceeds, I'll just remove it. Guys, just once you get here, make sure your mic is muted, okay? So it's very important to check on the dollar index, especially when you're trading the dollar pairs. From the previous week, I'd marked these guys for you. I told you guys we're gonna be having a reaction on these two major zones from the technical point of view, whereby we had this area of liquidity where price and also this one down here. So price came and tapped this, and it's been bullish for the previous week. That's why most of the USD, what do you call the US quotes were bearish. Pairs like Eurjpy, Gbpusd for the most part of the week before we had some slight buys. So on 4 hours, we can see price has tapped this area. You can need to go to the daily time frame. So if you look at daily time frame, here we have what we call a week overlap, which if you go to 1 hour or 4 hours, you'll see some sort of reaction, or you'll see some sort of liquidity seated at that area. That's why you have that reaction. Guys, remember, I always tell you that price moves from liquidity to liquidity. And it is very important that you be a keen observant of liquidity. Whichever strategy you're trading, if you cannot spot liquidity in the right way, then you'll be the liquidity. So you need to spot liquidity so that you can take trades on the best entry levels with less drawdown. That's why we do a lot of refinement in our strategy. So on 4 hours, we had that area of liquidity. And then if you look at this structure very well, we had price creating a shift. Price created a shift, and then it has left this area. Then we also had this area with this confirmation around this particular point. So that's why the market reacted from here. So probably the market for this week, I'm still for this week, I'm still bullish. I'm still bullish for the dollar, but okay, let me see the monthly. So I'm still bullish for the dollar because I'm expecting probably price to come all the way to this zone. Then maybe before we go down for the but still on the technical point of view, you can see we've had a body closure around this price level. That is 100, I think 100.424 level. So that simply means there's a likelihood of us pushing longer to the downside, maybe to this next area of liquidity, right? To this particular zone. So which means, but before we go there, the price has also to go back and consume any left or maybe any unmitigated zone before we proceed to our main or our trend. And when it comes to spotting liquidities, as I told you guys, one of the ways to do that is to check on the week overlaps. It will always signify something. And if you go to weekly to do a double confirmation, you can as well see that these are zonal. You see this monthly. On monthly, it's a week overlap. On weekly, it shows you we have a structure. If you follow the trend, you go to 4 hours. I mean, if you follow that sequence, you'll see something on 4 hours. If you use daily, you'll also see something on 1 hour. So that's why I'm anticipating probably price might come all the way to this area and react, right? Whatever happened, the reaction is maybe a short term or a slight reaction before we push maybe further. Then we could be having a push down. So this is what we have. So on 4 hours, you see that zone. I don't know why my name is loading. On 4 hours, we have that slight reaction. So there's a likelihood of price maybe coming to this area all the way up before we continue dropping. So it's very important to take note of. It's very important to take note of what is happening in terms of the dollar strengthening and weakening. Are we following? Are we all together? I want to get into a few pairs, currency pairs, and then I'll be talking about gold, and also I'll also give an update on some streams that are coming up, and then I also give other traders a chance to share what they have from their end. Those guys we had pending sessions about refinements and all that. We'll be doing it tomorrow early in the morning. And those guys, maybe you were here and you've not been joining our Discord. From last week, we started doing our live streams on Discord. So every probably minimum of 3 days in a week, that is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But if I have time, I'll be doing it daily, especially in the morning, whereby we go to the charts, we try to look for intradays live on Discord together with you guys so that at least people can make money daily, especially when we have clear trading opportunities. You know, you trade only when you have a clear opportunity based on our strategy, right? I hope you guys are following. Let me see a reaction on the chat section so that I proceed. So that's what I have on the dollar index. I don't think if I have much to share, unless someone has a different view. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I have on dollar. So take note of that. We might have a slight two possibilities from the technical point of view. So from where we are, price might come down. Hold on. Price might come down from here, tap on this area, and then go. Then later on, push down. There's also a likelihood of price just continuing with the trend. This slight reaction, because now this is acting as a flip. This is actually a very strong flip because we have what you call impure liquidity, all these resistance. So there's a likelihood the market might break that zone and push all the way up further before maybe we have a reaction to the downside. So that's what we have on the dollar index. Lenny saying that my sound is breaking. Any other person to confirm so that I know if it's your internet or if it's my end so that I work on that. Any other person who is getting my sound breaking, or if you can get me loud and clear, let me know so that we know if it's Lenny. Churchill saying sound is okay. SA saying it was breaking. Now it's clear. It's clear. Probably an issue from your end. Okay, perfect. So let's go to let's go to other currency pairs. I'm going to look at Gbpusd. Then I'll also look at EURUSD. Aris will look at AUDUSD, CHF. We will do like maybe 8 pairs. I'll also be talking about gold and JPY pairs. Leonard, I'll also give you a chance. Maybe if you have other pairs that you learn, maybe USD, JPY, and I won't tackle all the pairs. I'll just give out updates and highlights, and then you also guys will share your opinions. Then tomorrow we go on with our stream. So starting with the Euro USD, GBP USD, I mean. Guys, there's also another important thing that I want you to take note of. When you're doing your analysis, especially on a higher time frame, make sure you do double cross-check on at least three different brokers. You can check on Ohanda, you can check on forex.com, and don't just rely on one broker. Because there's something I've been noticing. Some brokers will hide very important information that we rely on, especially matters to do with liquidity. And then other brokers will give you all the information that you need. For example, just to show you something, if you look at this, let me use, I think I'd see that of gold. If you look at gold, on this broker called forex.com, the good thing with them, they don't have the gaps. And now look at this. If you look at gold, this is 4 hours chart. I want to show you something that's very important to take note of. If you look at, my goodness, I don't know if my internet is misbehaving. In case I have any issue, you just type on the chat section so that I work on that. So if you look at, this is an example of gold. This is 4 hours chart. This one, we really don't have any 4 hour structure that could have given us an idea of what is happening, all right? But if you go to a broker look at a broker I want you to look at this price level. This is where we had a price being broken the other week before ile week ingine but one. We had this area as a structure. We had a reaction. If you go to this broker here, then you go to the same zone, we have a similar structure. If you go to a broker like Ohanda, I want you guys to see. On Ohanda, what do we have? We have this. So that's why it's very important when you're doing your analysis, especially on time frames like 4 hours, daily, weekly, monthly. Always consider to cross-check in at least 3 different brokers, Ohanda, Fexe, and then also the forex.com, so that you get all those hidden and important information, right? Okay, so I was checking on GBP USD, and from my end, I can delete everything. I always start looking at my charts from monthly, but when I'm looking for short-term swings weekly, I consider mostly 4 hours and daily shifts. That's what gives me an idea of where we're heading to. So, but now we also need to understand the general trend. So if you look at your charts very well, price has been bullish. Okay, the previous trend was bearish, as you can see, and the recent trend is bullish, right? I think you've taken note of that. That is from the monthly point of view. Now, where price is reacting from, we had a shift here. The market went up, reacted from this zone, then it has done that for the second time. So as far as I'm concerned, we have areas of liquidity that we expect price maybe to keep pushing to. And from monthly, if I go to a daily time frame, or rather before I go to the daily time frame, you also need to see what do we have on the weekly time frame. So you need to be very, very guys flexible when it comes to time frame coordination. Check at least several time frames to see and get to understand what is happening. So from the weekly point of view, we have a reaction from this area because we have type of, this is type 5 of liquidity. We have a reaction from that zone. And price has gone all the way to, although we have not had any body closure in terms of the invalidation point. So there's a likelihood of maybe the market might slightly react and sell from that zone, maybe to this. That is from the weekly perspective. But I want to go to daily because we are following the main, following the monthly. So if you check on the daily time frame, what do we see? Number one, I want you to be very keen on this. If you check on the daily time frame, I'll say that we have not really had a clear shift. Okay, hold on. I think it's there. we have this highest point. I want you guys to understand something to do with shift. We have this particular point. Hold on. We have this zone, and we have a body closure, right? So this is the highest point. Now, since that is the highest point, which low cost this high? It was this one. This is the low that cost that high. No, sorry, not that one. It is this one here. This is the low because we have invalidation, then validation. So this is the internal structure. So based on this, based on this, based on that, this is the low, or this is the what do we call it? The invalidation point that caused this high. So that simply means this is our shift point. And how do we confirm that shift point? It's because of the body closures that has happened below this week. If I go to the line graph, you'll see a structure that is showing us some sort of transition, then price trying to come back, and then all that. So this tells us we're going to be selling, we're going to continue selling long term. That is for the long term perspective, right? Now, when I'm on the daily time frame, I need to go to, because this is our shift point. Hold on. I also check on 4 hours so that we get double confirmations. That's my shift point. Those guys who've been missing sessions, I always share all the recorded updates on the hybrid group, please. Sometimes it is your personal responsibility to follow up. You're not in that group, there's a reason why you're not in that group. So make sure you find why. So that is a shift. Then we have a 1 hour time frame. Now, when you look at this top area, we clearly don't have any confirmation of liquidity. Maybe we could use, if you're sticking on the daily time frame, maybe we could use something like this liquidity engineering. And if you can look at it, price came back. I'm talking about this area. Price came back to this normal liquidity engineering and reacted, right? But now we need to go to, there's some hidden information that we can't see. So that's why we need to go to 1 hour or even 4 hours, because also on weekly, we had seen a reaction based on the type of liquidity. So we can go to 1 hour. Then when you're on 1 hour, you see where we have our shift. We need to look for any liquidity up here that has not been touched or that has not been consumed. So you can continue having the swings. So when I'm looking at it clearly, it is a confirmation to me that, all right, price has gone up, came back, and again also did another shift. All right, so 2 possible good zones to get nice sales from. This one has consumed, and price has gone down. So we have this area where we expect probably price to come back and react. And then these others, I want to see the aspect of consumption, okay? I remember I'm giving out a mid-term swing point or a short-term swing point. So we have that area. I go back to weekly because as we had seen some sort of reaction. We go back to weekly, I can see that zone has been tapped. Then also this one has been tapped. All right. We have that zone been tapped. Okay, just a moment. This low has been taken out, the body closure. So whatever is happening is a pullback before we continue selling further. And then be selling further, we'll be aiming this daily area. This daily area of liquidity. Okay, we have this probably a reaction. That's point and another reaction. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll be targeting or I'll be interested mostly on this. I'll be interested mostly on this week overlap and maybe to the downside. So if I go back to daily, I have it here. So I'll be interested to look for my swing sales from there, but continuational buys from that particular area. So having said that, the weekly time frame, these are a key zone because of the reaction on type 5. So we go to 4 hours. We go to 4 hours. I think we'll use the 4-hour cycle. When using the 4-hour cycle, price has already tapped here, forming a shift. Then there's also another shift. So clearly, we have this validation. Let me show you. We have this validation and invalidation point. We have this structure here. Validation and invalidation point. So our interest for more cells, the immediate cells. So we have the all of these on. So we can go to 30 minutes for refinement purposes. 30 minutes. I hope you guys are following. To avoid confusion, I'll remove these. For hours, we have these validation and invalidation point on 4 hours. Based on the weekly cycle, now you're focusing on 4 hours. I hope you're seeing that. Then, if you measure the distance of pips on this area, it's over almost 70. So we now go to 30 minutes. On 30 minutes, we had this shift at this area. Then we have this formation, this particular price level. I believe this one has been touched. It was a type 5. Price has tapped on it and it's dropped. So we're gonna focus on this area as our immediate area of interest in terms of looking for more sales. So you have that structure as an inside formation, right? Then we have these validation points. So if you measure the pips, if they make sense, you have your entries. The stop loss is around 20 pips, but I believe we can refine much better. So let's check on 5 minutes. The entry is at exactly where we have some sort of, because this is like a shift, then inside formation. So this can be a very good area to get your cells. That can be a very good area to get your cells. If you go to 4 hours, you find your entries at the wicks. So maybe when the market opens, you might have a reaction tapping in there. Then we do what? Reaction there. Then we'll be dropping. Our target should be based on these. Our target should be based on, because of the daily, we have this area, but since you are using 4 hours structure as our first situational time frame, so okay, perfect. Tap. Okay, high, low. Your first target should be at least around here. So you're gonna have something like this. That's already an R of around 1 to 10. So that's the first trade idea I have on Gbpusd. But I'll do a lot of refinement once the market open, and I'll share the exact entry in the morning updates. But I'm just giving you the ideology of the directional buyer. So we might before we continue buying massively, we might be coming down here. So I told you guys, when you're doing your analysis, once you've gotten an entry, go to higher time frame, check, do a recheck so that you see where is your entry. If it's on the week overlaps or it's on the weeks, chances are gonna be a good setup. And as well, if it's on mostly on the opening price of a higher time frame, it'll also give you a very good indication. So you see, like last week's daily candlestick closed at this, so probably we might have a gap up, and then maybe we drop. So you need to be cautious. That is what we have on GBPUSD. So when you check on, let me check another pound pair, GBPUSD. I can look at. I'm taking a lot of time. I can look at Gbpjpy. I think this one I had already done analysis of it here. So I want you to be also keen on this. If you go to the monthly time frame, I'm having buys that I'm still holding on GJ from the other week. So in the monthly time frame, we have these keys on. Ask yourself, why was price reacting on this area? Why was price reacting on this area? Those are the things that you ask yourself as a trader. It means these are keys on. Why was we had these wicks reacting here in Amanisha? It means that we've had a lot of selling pressure this area, but above it, we have this strong liquidity, which is at the 203 level all the way to 208. So from monthly, you can also cross-check on weekly. If you check on the weekly time frame, we had, this was a key zone also for the weekly time frame, because you can see we had a reaction here. And then on the same time frame, we've had, I believe this is more of like, okay, it's a type, this is a type, I can see some sort of type what? Type 1, right? That is on from the weekly perspective. And then on the same weekly, you see price was coming to react on this, and then market went down. And when the market was coming down, it came to react on this type of liquidity here, which seems to be stronger. So this pullback was a liquidation. Price was just coming to take more liquidity. Who is making noise? Collins, Belly, have your mics muted kindly. So this reaction from here, and then this reaction from the downside. So there's a high chance this weekly candle, once we have a new week, maybe you might be breaking all the way to the upside. I remember we have some buys at 195.269. I'll talk about that. So this is what happened. The market did some transition, went all the way from this key zone, came down, started forming some structures, came back to collect these liquidities. Then it reacted from these. So whatever happened, so that's why you need to be cautious. As much as we'll be taking sales from here, if this sales fails, then just know that price will be aiming the 199 zone around there. Maybe we'll think of selling or even go up further, depending on the momentum of whoever will reclaim the price in terms of, in this case now you're talking about the bulls, right? So when you go to the daily time frame, I want you guys to be very keen on how I'm coordinating my time frames. If you go to the daily, the immediate area of liquidity that we have is this one. All right. And what type of liquidity is that? Type 5. All right, together. So that's why expected price to continue pushing all the way to this zone. And maybe later on, we're going to do what? Look for sales here with proper refinement. I just did this randomly, but I'll do refinement once price comes there. So there's a likelihood of this. And if you see this also on daily, the market reacted from here. There's a flip on lower time frame. That's why we had this push, right? That's why we had push. And I told you guys, when it comes to the true trend, the market has a tendency of moving very fast than when it's on the pullbacks. I'll be teaching you how to take nice trades or entries on pullbacks on continuation as we go on. You know, are we all guys together? Are we following? Tuko pamoja? Are we following keenly? Are we guys following? I need to know if you're together because I might be making noise and maybe you guys are even sleeping. I need to see a lot of reactions on the chat. I need to see a lot of comments. Check. Feel this week is gonna be very beautiful. I need to see a lot of reactions from you guys. More reactions, more reactions, more reaction, more reaction, more reaction. I need to know we are all together. Kanijue kama tuko pamoja. All right, perfect. I can see we have all right, guys are very attentive. I can see we have Kevin, Wycliffe, Engineer Nelson, Alice, Robert. Veli is also in the house. One of the most vibrant trader we have in the community at the moment. He's very vocal. I can as well see Mr. Philemon is around, Kenneth, Esther, Wilson. I can see Lele is also in the house, Mr. Leonard. So, guys, those guys that we had pending sessions for the weekend, I'm really sorry. I'll be making up for that this week, the morning, so that we see our way to tackle whatever pending issues that we had. So let's proceed. So on GJ, take note of those important key zones in terms of liquidity and price level. So take note of that, guys. Make sure you take note of those zones that I'm talking about from the aspect of long-term swings and also the mid-term swings. So as a trader, you need to understand how to take the counter trend as short-term trades and also how to maintain your major swings, right? So we had a flip on 1 hour, this particular area. That's why we had these wherever. If you check on 4 hours, if you check on 4 hours time frame, you see, this is what I was talking about, but it's clear on 1 hour. Price reacted on this. I think this was liquidity engineering. Is it? No, let me see. Price reacted on that. Was this special case flip? Yes, we had that special case flip where price reacted on 4 hours, and we've had these bullish. You see, last week when the market was selling, the people, whenever they see those slight pullback, they get frustrated. They start wondering they should. For me, I was holding. Think people like Nelson saw my trades. The market was doing this, then now it might be pushing up further. But also there's a possibility of this market deciding to sell from here, depending on what happens once the market opens. You know, we trade in probability. No one is sure. As I always tell you guys, you don't need to be, the market doesn't care. The outcome is none of our business. Just follow the plan, execute the trades, and then manage your trades very well, apply risk management. You know, always make sure you have money in the pocket. Don't be that person who is just, you're just taking trades without taking profit. Make sure you reward yourself. It's so unfortunate. For example, you have a trade from this particular point. The market has gone up like an RR of around 1 to 11, and then the market comes back to your, entry without you taking some profit. It's so unfortunate. So make sure you always have money in the pocket. We're not here to have beautiful setups or flex with screenshots. We're here to make money. So that's why it's very important. As much as you have a trade, know how to take partials. This is something I'll also be teaching you as we go on with our mentorship until you understand how to do it properly. So on GJ, that's what I have. We're going to continue pushing up further. Probably we'll be heading to the 195 and then we'll be looking for sales. So I think I'm done with that. Because of time, I want to give other traders a chance to share whatever they have, and then I'll wrap it up with gold. Because time has gone and I've taken much time, I think we'll extend up to 9:30. I want to give other traders a chance also to share what they have on their watch list, and then I'll wrap it up with gold. think that is okay. So I think we have, let me see, let's see. Leonard, do you have anything on your watch list, Mr. Leonard?
Actually, there is that USD JPY, which I think it was you shared on Friday.
The which pair?
USD JPY.
Oh, USD Uh-huh. Are you able to share your screen and maybe give us your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, Churchill, do you have anything on your watch list? Maybe you'll want to share with us, Churchill, as Leonard is sharing the screen. Churchill is silent. Okay. I also have Mr. Harris. Harris, maybe I know you'll talk about Audusd and you also give an update about US30. There's a setup that I had on US30. I think I will show you about it. So after Gbpjpy, Harris, you will also share whatever you have on your watch list, right?
I think we had the same opportunity with, I think I was discussing it with Henry
Okay.
on Thursday evening. I think I'll share the biasness and also what I see on my end.
Okay.
Leonard can continue.
Okay, Leonard, just go on.
Okay. I believe you can see my screen and I'm clear.
Yes.
Okay, so looking at this, I'm seeing the move is actually like that one of GBP. It's been GBP JBY. It's been bullish, and you see, guys, it's making higher highs and higher lows as you can see this move, and prices came to a certain area, an area of liquidity, which gave a reaction. This we can say it is kind of a flip, and from here, this daily going to 1 hour time frame. We have, let me take you back to this point. We had a reaction. This is a weak overlap. Actually, if you look at maybe 4 hours or 2 hours, this kind of a weak overlap. So that area gave us a reaction, a reaction here. And from that point, we see prices came to this flip zone. Let me mark for you guys to see. So we have this flip, and then prices may be going back to this point before it comes actually to this, or maybe to react from this point. And I think S1 shared this one on Discord on Friday, and actually it's something I'm still looking at as a potential buy opportunity. Apart from that area, we also have this lower area of liquidity. If prices are going to react from this and maybe later come back to the lower, so we may be buying from this side also. So for now, guys, we may have maybe a short time buy to this point before we get to, before we may have a sell. So if it reacts from this flip, fine. If not, maybe we come to this other lower area of liquidity. Let's look at lower time frame, 15 minutes. So price is actually, the price is approaching this area, this extreme point where we had a reversal. And from here, trying to figure out how we are. So we may have a flip from this point. Before we actually look for the sell, the buys from here. So that's what I'm looking at. At least price come back to this point early in the morning, and then we may have sales before we can actually get buys from here. Remember this flip, and it also has something like, I think we can find some engineering around here apart from the flip. And with engineering or something like let's look at 3 minutes. So that area has already given out a reaction. So for now, let's look at this lower point. Let's look at that area around 144, around 144.530 for potential buys. From the other side, if it comes to this area, we may try sell from this point. This could be on this liquidity engineering. So that's on Gbpjpy. Those of us on Discord, I think this one was shared on Discord on Friday, and it's still good for us. I think the other pairs, Espen, you've mentioned on GBP and GBPUSD, Gbpjpy. Let me give it to the next presenter.
All right. Maybe keep whatever you have on your, you can share also whatever you have on your watch list, US30, Audusd, and other pairs that maybe you have on your watch list.
Thing on the USD but I think you have exhausted it. So I'll go direct to sharing on my end. Let's share. Dorothy, you kindly mute so that I can continue. So I'll be brief and straight to the point on the opportunities I am seeing tomorrow or this week. I think this week we are we're going to make some nice dollars in the market, because I think the markets are shaping up correctly, and it's quite a week that does not have a lot of fundamentals. We only have CPI and other.
Yes, Kim.
On my end, I'll be looking, maybe I'll just share something small on the DXY. Then I'll narrow down to my pairs just briefly. So on my end, I'm anticipating a dollar strength to kick in, but before that, I think we still have areas to be mitigated down here. Still have areas of liquidity on the DXY to be mitigated. Okay. We still have some areas of liquidity to be mitigated. But also, if you look on the higher time frame, the DXY has been going up in a rather bullish way. But my key zones, as you can see, are 103,630 levels up there. We are at, I think last week, my price broke my level at 100.50 levels, the upside, but we still have a low here. We have to begin at 97,700 levels. So on my end, I anticipate maybe price to do a nice pullback, maybe to mitigate this zone here, and then we continue buying. But on the long term, I think not clear that the dollar is getting some strength even after the agreement between USA and UK with the Trump trade deals. So I think there's a lot of investor confidence coming back to the dollar. So the dollar is likely to be bullish maybe this week, next week. Also, it will be determined also by the CPI that will be coming out on Tuesday. And also, you can see we're having some, the stock market also is likely to be picking up where it went, where it was. And I think this week we might be having some nice trade opportunities. So due to that regard, I think if all goes well, I'll be looking for short-term sales on the dollar pairs, but I'll be looking to long them on the longer perspective. So tomorrow, I think we have on the USD card, if I start with it, we have a nice type of 5 liquidity, I think on the daily, type 5 liquidity forming there. So I'll be looking for sell opportunities as the market opens tomorrow on the USD card pair. Think around that zone. Use my path. I think I'll be looking for sales on that pair, and also maybe touch on something on GJ. I think GJ has been overbought, but I think the JPY was a bit weak last week, midweek. I think I caught some nice sales on CHF JPY. So I think some buys on CHF JPY. I think I'll share on it. Also, I'm having a running trade with my community on CAD CHF. So I think they might be experiencing some JPY weakness, even if you look at the currency strength meter, the JPY is a bit getting some strength. And the Gbpjpy was, I think we had some nice buys from here, which I think I missed. I missed by some micro pips down here. Then it came to re-entry. Then it bought. But I think I had already come out of that market and I had already gotten another setup. But I think due to the pound strength, the market bought around some almost 200 pips. Almost 300 pips rather on the same. I think Basweti and the other guys in the community made some money from it. It's still good. But on my end, I can see I'll be looking maybe to continue with buying the Gbpjpy, but on a discounted level or area. My end, on my end, we have a weak overlap around here on the daily, and also the weak overlap is seated on where we have a breakout to the upside. I think an overlap that is, if you check out the price action in terms of liquidity, an overlap that is reacting at around where we had a nice BOS, price likely to come and consume that area. So I'll be looking to buy or looking for buy opportunities at that zone on the overlap on the 4 hours, and I'll do maybe refinements tomorrow to get entry at that level on Gbpjpy. Yes, so as I'm anticipating maybe JPY strength maybe tomorrow, Tuesday, but it will solely depend with how price action will go. Lastly, maybe I touch on AUD-USD. AUD-USD was off my watch list, I think, of April because price was not giving us nice clean price action because it was just buying, and there was no clear opportunities to get into the markets before maybe the clarity on that happened last week on the dollar. So on my end, I'll be looking for sales on the same because we have a type 1 there, but that's on a swing position, on a swing perspective. But tomorrow, Tuesday, I'll be looking for long opportunities intraday. Intraday long opportunities, we have a nice change of character to the upside. So I'll be looking for nice buys up to that zone. Then I'll be positioning myself to sell maybe around Tuesday, Wednesday on the same as USD card. Maybe tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, look for intraday dollar weakness. Then on as the week unfolds, if the dollar strength get it, I think most of the pairs are positioned for nice opportunities for the dollar strength. Same as USD JPY, as Leonard has stated, is looking for sales. Then we look for buys. I think we'll see how the market turns out. On the other end, I think we had a nice opportunity. We were talking with I think Henry, but I'll leave that one to Basweti to do that and also do something on gold. I think on my end, I'm done. I'll give it back to Basweti.
All right, perfect. So those guys who had the AUD-USD swings, you should be happy anyway. I want to talk about gold. I want to slightly talk about gold. Then I'll give a room for reactions from members of the meeting. So I hope you've heard. You realize Kim has also talked about DXY, and I think we have almost similar reaction, slight reaction, and then we continue pushing up. Before now, we'll have a massive sell. So you need to know how to check on that correlation so that you take trades also based on the strength and the weakness of the dollar. So let me now wrap it up with gold. Other pairs, yes. Guys, can you hear me? Use the chat section to confirm. Okay, so let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. Okay, let's look at my goodness, my internet. I think I need to have my provider. Which broker was I using? Was it Ohanda or forex.com? So remember, okay. Confirmation, you can see my screen. I need a few reactions so that I know we are together. Okay. Perfect. So I also I think before I end it up, I'll also give Henry some few minutes to share whatever he has. So gold is a major swing for me, 31.25. I'm still watching that price level, but let's start with as usual. From the monthly perspective, we are still bullish, but you can see previous month, that was the month of April, we had a you see this candlestick price went up, then we had a major sellers. We had some sort of exhaustion of buyers. Sellers came in and pushed price. That's why the market went all the way to that 500 and price came to close at around the 3200 levels, 3290s. Then these months candlestick opened at the same price level, and the price again pushed all the way to the 3400 zones. You've had another reaction whereby sellers have pushed price all the way to the 3300 levels. Now, as far as I'm concerned, okay, so last week we closed at the 3300 levels. Now, if you check on the weekly time frame, you can as well see that we've had that is the last week of the month. We had this crazy sell after the exhaustion from the 3500 levels, and last week we had some nice push from the 3240 levels all the way to the 3435 zone, whereby there's a setup that Ngare shared on sales and it delivered over 700 pips. So if you go to the daily time frame, you can clearly see also the structure is showing us we had this major key zone, that is the 3365 up to 3343 zone. Then we also had the 32 zone as an area of liquidity. So we have had body closure above the 3360s something zone. The market has been pulling back and it's come to 3275. That is last week. So if you go to 4 hours, guys, for now, I'll advise you, if you're trading gold, don't hold for so long. Gold can easily give you 200, 300 pips, 400 pips easily. So, because if you hold in, sometimes you will be surprised. You might collect a lot of pips and then later on, the market comes and takes you out. So it's very important that you stick to your risk to reward ratio. Once you get your target, get out of the market. Don't hold for long, because it's so disappointing. You're up by 300 and something pips, and then after a few minutes or a few hours, the market is at your entry. It's so painful. Why can't you take even half of the profit before you break even, or maybe take profit based on your target? So looking at the 4-hour structure, after price reacting at the 34, 35 zone, the market did a transition. Price went and reacted on the 30 minutes flip. We had a 30 minutes flip around this area. Then the market has been selling. From last week's breakdown, we had price reacting here all the way to the downside, and it came to react on this major zone, which is more of like a liquidity engineering, because this was a high, this was a low. So the high was taken and the low has been taken. So the market has come to react here. And from that reaction, price was able to deliver. You know, you cannot spot all the moves in the market. So you need to know what you're looking for. From that reaction, price has delivered around 700 pips from the 4-hour structure. So the trend is still bearish. The trend is still bearish. Maybe we might be coming all the way down to this 3240 zone. Then maybe we push up further. So with that said, go to 30 minutes. Go to 30 minutes. I think I can go back to my broker. That is forex.com. Last week, I was showing you this. You come to, let me go back to 4 hours. If you go to 4 hours, if you look at the chart, we have this area of liquidity on 4 hours, and it's a type 5. It's a type 5. We had this shifting, right? And we have this, I would say this is an outside formation. So our interest based on that structure was here. And if you look at it very well, if you go to 30 minutes, I hope you guys are following keenly. I hope you guys are following keenly. I hope you guys are following. So if you go to the 30 minutes from the 4 hours, you realize that on that area where we have, this is now a validation point. So if you refine, price came to react on this flip, then it left us with this area of liquidity, right? Price left us with this area of liquidity, this area. My internet is misbehaving. Can you guys comment on the chat section so that I know we are following? I need to know, because, you know, the internet might be misbehaving and maybe guys, okay, perfect. So price reacted, I was anticipating even from last week, that was Friday's analysis. Guys, patience, this trade might even mature tomorrow when the market opens and we take advantage of it. So I still expect a reaction. Anything can happen, but I'll be still interested to sell from here. But if the market decides to come down, then I'll be interested to buy. My analysis still remains intact. If price comes down, I'll be interested to take my first buys here. If this fails, I'll take my buys from this. But if price goes up fast, then I'll be interested to sell from that zone. So if you look at the risk to reward ratio, this is an RR of 1 to 20. This one is also an RR of 1 to 21. The stop loss is around 30 pips, roughly 30. You can even put it to be 40. And then targets even a minimum of 1 to 10, and you'll make money. So that's what I have on gold. I don't think if I have much to say. That is for short-term opportunities. But generally, we are still very bullish. We're still very bullish. So I'm anticipating probably prices, since price has taken this, maybe the market will come down. The market will come down to the extreme for our structure, which is this area, right? Do consumption, and then from there now we'll continue. Maybe where we are in terms of gold, I was talking to another trader. We might also be going back to the 2,700 level. So maybe a reaction here, and then maybe come to break that high, right? I hope you guys are seeing that. All of these is more of like a correction, then we push up. So when we go to the internal structures, that's when now we get the counter trend or those short subjects, you know, all that. I hope that is clear, unless someone has a question. I don't think I have much to give on gold. So that's what I have. So today I want to sleep.
Coaches, we didn't hear you well. Your sound was breaking. Could you repeat?
Okay. What was the last thing that you heard me saying? Kindly. What is the last thing that you heard me saying before I go on? Sorry, guys. Today my internet is acting up. Huh? Sorry, guys. My internet is acting up. Huh? Let me reshare my screen. I think it was John who was saying something. What was the last thing that you heard that you said that I was breaking? So that I talk about it. I don't know if it's you alone or everyone else.
You said you are talking to something to do with 2700.
Okay, perfect. So I was saying this, there's a likelihood of gold because of the current, okay, generally you're very strongly bullish, but you see we have started seeing some exhaustion on lower time frame. You see, okay, these are continuation, slight pullback, then probably break the 3500 zone. But also there's a possibility of us coming down. The first sub point once we have massive sales will be the 30, I've marked it on our hand, it's around 31.25, this area. Then maybe later on we'll be coming to the 2700 zone. That is from the swinging perspective. But for the current, gold moves the pip value and the movements are crazy. So you can still take advantage of the short moves. You don't need to take 1,000. I mean, you don't need to take 10,000 pips to make money. You can even make pips with the 300, 200, whatever. So based on the current structures that we have, 4 hours, we've already had price breaking above. So these are high. So whatever is happening is more of like a correction or rather a pullback. And then now we continue with the trend. So the major area of liquidity that you need to take note of is this area. Market might come, take all these, then later on will be coming to break. So that, and also this. There's also a possibility of from this reaction, because this is also a key zone, the market might decide to come react from here or even here, and then we'll continue, going up away together. So on gold, for me, what I'm looking for, I'm still looking at my entry zones. I'm looking at these entry zones that I had from last week on Friday. So I'll be keen. Today I'll be timing the market. I want to wake up early. By 3 or 4 a.m., I should have entries that I'll be able to make some money. So it feels good when you make money on Monday. And also it feels so bad when you lose money on Monday. So it's up to you to decide to choose your poison. Either you lose money on Monday, you ruin your week, or you make money and you make your week beautiful. But you know what? We don't know the outcome. Our work is just follow the plan, do the right things, and let the market decide. Are we all together? So that's what I have on gold. So the analysis is still on Discord. We will still be waiting. Whatever happens, we'll be doing an update later on during the live streams during the London session. So, Henry, if you have something to touch on, feel free before we wrap it up. Henry, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect.
Let me try to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see my screen? Aman mimi naona nini? Nope, not that screen.
Just select the trading view tab.
I have different nini. Yeah.
Perfect.
Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, we can see your gold screen.
Hapo ndo nilikuwa nataka. So I have this on Eurjpy. Can everybody see my screen? I mean, inaonekana bado?
Yes.
So on my end, I have because we are bullish on Eurjpy, and as you can see here, let me remove this. As you can see, we had a shift upper, a structure shift upper, now upper, then we came back retested. Now we are aiming to break this zone. Come now, aiming to break this zone, but upper kuna this impulsive move. Then there was a correction here, of which there's a liquidity engineering, I think. Yeah, I think engineering occurred. So I was mostly looking where we could say that's on a daily perspective. So in daily, I go to H1, and on H1, the way market is reacting, as you can see, and made a shift on the downside. Made a shift on the downside, and we were left on this with this culture, this structure here, of which I was hoping by on Monday or on Tuesday we come back here. We fully concerned because this one was an formation that was made. There was a formation here made, and we also that before we targeting.
So sorry, my internet took me out. I don't know what. I hope you guys we are still together.
Mnanisikia bado?
Okay, just continue.
So from this my green line, that's around 10 pips, of which I'll be willing to risk for the short-term sales, and I'll be targeting these zones on my 15 first target. I'll be targeting this low. If the market will go further down, there's this structure here, there's this inside formation, but on my end, I'll be targeting the FMD for the most deviation, of which it's here. I'll share the more updates on the screen, but on Discord, I'll share it, and also on the groups. It will be on this because, as you can see, the market came, consumed. There was this play. Where is it? There was this market moved. There was this play around here, of which this one consumed this place, but this place was left unconsumed. The market around 162.581, that zone wasn't fully consumed before we pumped up. So I'll be waiting for the market to come back and consume this area of liquidity. If not, if it will not sustain, I'll be waiting the market to come to this huku chini kabisa, this zone. But my target first is here, so that we push higher, more highs from there.
English.
Yeah. And that I'll share everything on Discord and groups. Thank you. Yes, back to you, Hayes.
Okay. Is there anyone who still feel like they have something to say before we wrap it up? Because from my end, I don't think I have much to say, unless someone has a question or maybe a comment that they feel they want to share before we wrap it up. Anyone who feels left out? All right, so guys, I'll summarize this by saying this. As a trader, one of my principles is once you blow your account, you're out of business. Once you break your rules, you're out of business. So make sure you stick to the plan, make sure you stick to the risk management, and make sure just manage your trades well. So we'll resume our sessions tomorrow as usual. And then if you're not on Discord, then you're not a paid member. So if you're in this meeting and you're not, I'll not be doing the morning sessions on Zoom. I'll be doing them on Discord. I found a way on how to record them. So find your way. If you're not on Discord, there's a reason as why you're not there. So make sure you're in the Discord. I'll be doing all the live streams on Discord and share all the updates there so that Yes, the Discord live will be 9 a.m. in the morning, all the way to around 10:30, Monday to Friday. But the minimum days is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But when I have time, even Tuesday and Thursday, I'll be doing them in the morning, whereby we're going to check on updates, give you what's going on, upcoming trades. Dalix, I think you're in the Discord. You're in the Discord platform, huh? Yes, you're in the Discord platform, Dalix. You're there. So tomorrow, okay, I think I can share. I take you through how to check it out, because I noticed that people still have a challenge when it comes to using Discord. Let me share on my screen very fast. Let me share on my screen. Someone to confirm if you can see a Discord screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. So once you're in the Discord platform for Eurjpy community, we have Eurjpy. Most of my setups, I share them here. All my setups, I share them here. There are also upcoming swings. You just check on the updates. Hapa ni mimi peke yangu na share. And then there's a time I had a gold scalping challenge. I used to share everything here. I'll be coming back to that challenge soon. But that one was private. Not everyone can access it. And okay, then we have members under the community category, members trading room. This is where everyone can share their setup for correction. That's why we have, it's called a community. Just share your setup. Don't fear to fail. You have to fail for you to grow. Share your setup based on what you understand. We'll correct you. Like if you see, it's an interactive section whereby people share their setups, share updates and all that. And then we have, what else? We have this folder. When you scroll down, still under, okay, we have where we've written free access category. Under free access category, we have community updates. This is where I share all the upcoming updates. If you have a Zoom, I'll share here update. If any important thing for the community, I'll also share here. Like soon you're planning to have a traders meet and greet in Eldoret. I will be doing something. Once I have everything set, I'll let you guys know so that we grow together. It's going to be a very nice event to help you guys bond and network with other traders. I stopped using this watch list for the week. I don't use it nowadays. I stopped using it. And then we also have economic calendar news. If there's any upcoming update on dollar, gold, or whatever, I always come and update here. But since we're having live, sometimes I don't see the need of updating because I give things live. Like the economic calendar is supposed to be posted here. And then we have the live stream. You see this folder written live stream. So once you join the meeting, once you're in the Discord server, once the live stream starts, you'll just see a notification here. Then you can always click it and join with the voice and listen and watch what is happening on the screen. Then there's always a chat section. Let me try to see. If I click it here, the session will start. I'll share my screen and give out updates. So that's where you join the live stream from. I think that's what I have. We meet tomorrow. You guys have a lovely and beautiful week ahead. I hope you're going to make a lot of money this week. So stay disciplined, be active in the community. And the most important thing, risk management is very important in your trading career. Yes, Lenny. Lenny, yes?
Sorry.
Okay, perfect. You guys have a lovely week. We meet tomorrow in the morning session.